Hello and welcome back to the She is Courageous podcast. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt like you are holding yourself back? Even though deep down you believe you're capable of more. Have you found yourself looking at other people who are not just going after what they want, but actually making those big moves, getting what they want, and you think to yourself, I know I could do that too, but you don't. Why is that? Why are you playing small? Because that is what's happening. And I want to talk today about the real reasons that we play small. And of course, how you can start stepping up in a bigger way. Now, I'm going to be really, really clear. Playing small does not mean that you lack ambition or drive. And as is often the case, I do keep things real on this podcast. As I was thinking about this episode, as I was thinking about what does playing small mean, and that piece I've just shared around, feeling like you're holding yourself back, often looking at what others are doing and thinking, I know I could do that. I used to, honest moment, I used to so often look at people in the corporate world, in my many different businesses I worked for. I would often think, not necessarily in a positive way, I should be honest, I would often think, I know that I can do that job. I know, actually, I think I can do a better job. But what I didn't do was anything about being able to do that job, anything about showing others. I was playing small. But it wasn't because I lacked ambition. It wasn't because I didn't have the drive. In fact, very often, the most ambitious women struggle the most with this. They want more, but something holds them back. And look, it shows up in so many different ways. It shows up in overthinking every single decision. We play small by hiding behind perfectionism. We play small by waiting for everything to be just right before we take action. We play small by saying yes to things that feel safe instead of seeking the opportunities, taking the opportunities that really excite us, but probably also scare us. Maybe this is resonating for you. Are you playing small? Are you, if you are really honest with yourself, capable of more, want more, but not going for it? Do you hold back from speaking up? Do you not really say what you want to say in your messaging, in your content? Are you holding back from putting your prices up, even though you are absolutely clear on your financial goals and you haven't raised your prices for a while? Or are you holding back from launching that thing you really want to launch? Now, I want to say if this is sounding familiar, and I would be surprised if anyone is sitting there like, no, that's not me. I think every one of us experiences this at some point. It is completely normal. This was a massive light bulb moment for one of our recent retreat attendees. She literally had this moment of, I am playing small. Why am I holding myself back? I know exactly what I want to do. I even know how to do it. But I've been telling myself just to stay here, and actually part of the conversation, this could be again playing out for some of you, part of her conversation was this realization of, I've got everything that I said I wanted. And I did an episode recently about, does it make us ungrateful to want more? Sometimes we have this realization of, I am exactly where I said I wanted to be. Now, for some of us, that might be, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and this is great. But actually, sometimes we then have a realization of, okay, but now I'm holding myself there. That doesn't mean I can't have more. I'm playing small. So again, I'm going to be really clear, okay? Playing small doesn't mean you lack ambition or drive. It also isn't anything to do with laziness or lack of motivation. Unsurprisingly, because I'd love to talk about the mindset, I'm going to tell you that this is about your brain keeping you safe. Because it is highly likely, even though you want more, even though you believe deep down you are capable of more, even though you may know you could have more, do more, be more, stepping into something bigger feels like a risk. Somewhere inside of your brain, there is a linkage to risk. And so what this is actually about, rather dramatically, is kind of survival. Because your brain is wired to keep you safe. And what happens very often, the number one reasons we play small is because that pesky fear is showing up. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of change. Fear is coming from a place of change, coming from a place of stepping out of comfort. Now, I can throw in so many things here. So many of us have been conditioned from a very young age to not take up too much space, to be grateful for what we've got, maybe to tone things down, to not be too ambitious, not be too loud. Or we've experienced or seen failure, and that experience keeps us from stepping into what could go wrong, what might not go according to plan straight away, what might not give us what we're after. Self-doubt, oh my God, good old self-doubt comes along for the ride. And so what we do is we tell ourselves, well, I just need to be a bit more confident and then I'll play bigger. But I've said this once, I will say it 100 times if I need to, confidence doesn't come first. Confidence is what comes after we take action. Which is why this is the She is Courageous podcast, because what do we need? We need courage. We need to have the courage now to stop playing small. Because every single one of us deserves to play bigger, if we want to. And this is the bit about playing small doesn't mean you lack ambition or drive. And not having ambition to get more, not needing or wanting more right now does not mean you are playing small. Playing small is about if you are pushing down a feeling inside of you that you want to go for something more, do something bigger or more. And I'm very conscious these words are subjective. My bigger and your bigger could be different. But if you have any sense inside of you that you are not truly giving yourself permission to go for what you really want, then you are playing small. And I want you to not play small. I want you to play as big as you want to play. So how do you stop playing small? Okay, now it's going to be a bit whistle stop this week because it's quite a broad subject. So I'm going to say now, if this brings something for you, and you're like, okay, I think I'm playing small here, what do? Drop me a message. Head over to Instagram, find me at shelleybosworth.official. Yes, we have a new Insta handle. And drop me a message, because here's what you have to do, okay? The first step to stopping playing small is to start noticing when you're doing it. Now, unsurprisingly, this is very similar to all of the work I do with mindset, and I talk about catch it. Awareness is the first step of change. You have to notice when you are playing small. You have to catch yourself when you hesitate, when you choose the safer option, when you don't do something because deep down you are delaying, procrastinating. You know you want it, you know you want to do it, you know you want the result it gives you, but actually you are not doing it. Ask yourself in that moment, if I wasn't afraid, what would I do right now? Because playing bigger is about facing into the fear and being really courageous. So the first step is to notice when you're doing it. And then you've got to reframe that fear. So, incoming cheesy statement, fear is not a stop sign. Okay? Fear is actually a sign that you're growing. Fear is coming from a place of, I'm about to do something I haven't done, or maybe I have and it didn't go the way I wanted to last time. And so what's the antidote to fear? Courage. Because courage isn't about feeling ready. Courage is about taking the action even though you've got the fear feeling. The trick is to start small. So when I talk about playing big, you don't have to take a bloody great giant leap. One small action. That's not playing small, that's moving. One small action that pushes you outside your comfort zone. Send the email, post the thing, make the offer, reply to the DM, reach out to the person that engaged on the post. Do the one thing that you've been putting off. Ask the question. So notice when you're doing it. Notice when you're playing small. What's really going on there? Ask yourself, if I wasn't afraid, what would I do right now? And then face into that fear and reframe it. Tap into courage. Do the thing. Do one small thing that shows you it's okay, shows you it's safe. Remember, your brain is wired for safety. Now, I think a really, really key element to stepping away from playing small is to surround yourself with people who are already playing bigger. My coach once said to me, a couple of years ago now, and she said to me, I already think and act like my business is much bigger than it is. It's about really thinking about who do you need to be to play bigger, and how can you help yourself be that? Well, watch people that are playing bigger. Surround yourself with people who are playing bigger. Who you spend your time with absolutely influences how you see yourself, how you see the possibilities for yourself. If you constantly surround yourself with people who doubt themselves, you're going to do the same. Take yourself back to the episode around the law of attraction. Remember, your brain is filtering. If you are surrounding and flooding your brain with negativity, self-doubt, your brain's going to tap into self-doubt. So if you surround yourself with people who are already playing bigger, you see the opportunities, you see the possibilities. Now, not in the way that I've said previously, where then you then go, well, I should be able to do that, I can do that, and actually don't. But actually you see what they do, how they do. Because if you're in spaces where courage is the norm, where growth is celebrated, you will start seeing what is possible for you too and how you make it possible. And that's when you can shift the way you talk to yourself. So instead of thinking about the fear stuff, what if it goes wrong? What if they judge me? What if? The what ifs change into, what if it goes like it did for them? What if it works out better than I imagined? What if I could do that too? Instead of asking yourself, who am I to try it? You find yourself thinking, well, why not me? We're not meant to play small, ladies. The bigger version of you already exists because you know that you can do more. You know you've got more to give. You know you've got more that you want. But you have to choose to step into that bigger role. You can take one small step in first. You don't have to take the leap. But you have to make a decision. So my challenge for you this week is, if you are playing small somewhere in your life or your business, just make a commitment to you right now to take one small uncomfortable action. Something that moves you forward. Something that feels like you're playing bigger. Because you can. Every single one of us has the potential to be the bigger person, business, role, whatever it is that we want. If you want more, you have to stop playing small. And I want that for you too. So let me know if this episode resonated for you this week. And if it did, share it on the socials, give me a tag, and let me know what is it you are committing to in terms of that first small, uncomfortable step. Let's all play bigger. No more playing small. Let's be courageous. Let's play bigger together. Because what is it I say to round off every single episode? I want you to remember that she is courageous and she is you.